Catie Staszak is a celebrated sporting journalist, the broadcast voice behind the Longines FEI World Cup North American League, which recently landed in Las Vegas. And while she's mostly seen talking about riding in the city that never sleeps, she found time for a few stolen moments in the saddle.
I live my dream, really. Every day on the North American League and every day that I have around a horse or on the back of a horse. And I can truly say that I don't take a day of it for granted. I grew up the only child of a retired professional athlete, and spending time with my dad growing up, anything that was on the TV was Sports Center. And any sort of sporting event. So I knew the way to kind of bond with my dad was to talk about sports. So I knew that would require a bit of research and being able to articulate my opinions when we would debate. And that really kind of sparked my first interest in broadcast. I knew that I always wanted horses to be a big part of my life. But I also knew I didn't want to be a professional in the industry as a rider or trainer. I didn't want riding to be an obligation. I wanted it to be my outlet, and I was always afraid of burnout, and that is yet to happen, but it was a concern of mine. I knew I could write well, and I studied broadcast, and slowly I saw these things converge into a career. I really pride myself in my research, and there's a lot of research that goes into every event, and what I've done is I kind of have an archive and a log that I update every time I see a particular horse and rider combination, and I build off that and prepare notes for every event as I go throughout the calendar year. Of course, walking the course is paramount. I'm always talking to the course designers, who I just find the dialogue with them is so fascinating. Of course, always talking with riders and getting those backstories. This is a sport where you're learning something new every day, and that's what also makes it exciting.
She is just right with them, neck and neck. What a partnership.
Everything that I do is founded on storytelling. I want someone to really resonate and learn something new. I want them to learn the story behind what gets this combination in the ring. What we see in the ring is such a very small part of our sport, and it's the culmination of all the perseverance and effort and time that goes into getting to that level. So I want to inspire, I want to educate, I want to share those stories, and for someone that's new to the sport, I want them to kind of latch on and want to watch again. And for someone that's really invested in the sport, I want to be able to, educate on what went into everything that's happening in the ring and hopefully share some new information for them. Equestrian sport is so special because you become a part of a community where you become very close friends with people that you probably wouldn't have crossed paths with were they not involved with horses. You meet people of all walks of life, but the horses bring us together. Our sport is magnificent. These athletes are incredible, and that's both the rider and the horse. I always say that, my career goal is to just bring our sport a little bit closer to that of mainstream sports in North America. You can't beat this sport. What I love about the events are these horses and these riders and this sport and this level. I mean, it is so exciting, and as a rider and someone that's been involved in the sport my whole life, I just have such an appreciation for what every horse and rider combination in that ring did to get to that point. I think of a horse that I had growing up that was actually my first horse. He was 4 years old, and I was 6 years old when we got him, and he stayed in my family for 22 years. And I don't know that I'll ever have a partnership like that again. And that horse didn't win me a single ribbon in the show ring. All my show horses, they were amazing horses, and I have such strong connections with them. But I believe that it's the time that defines the partnership, and anyone that can have that in putting the time in. And there is absolutely nothing more special than that kind of partnership. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I know for me, they bring an immense sense of comfort and escapism. I'm far more comfortable when I'm on the back of a horse or with a horse than I am really anywhere else. And I'm always on the run. I wear many hats and I do a lot of things, but when I'm with my horse and I'm in the saddle, everything else just kind of disappears, and I can just focus on that moment, and that's really special. And I think the partnerships that we form with these horses, nothing compares. And you know, now I'm gonna maybe give myself a shot to achieve some of the goals that I have for myself in the saddle as well. It's all really come full circle, and there's so much more to do, and you never stop learning or growing, and I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to keep being able to do that.